Welcome to AI Takeover, where we like to really get into some of the fascinating stuff happening in the world of AI. And today we're diving into a couple of blog posts from criticallycurious.com.
Okay.
And these are all about how AI is kind of secretly already like all over our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And these are by PixelPia and Sven.
Oh, yeah. I've read those.
Have you?
Yeah, they're really, really interesting.
Yeah, so get ready for some like seriously eye-opening stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, AI, it's not just some futuristic thing.
No,
Yeah.
it's definitely not. It's not like robots walking around like we see in the movies, but it's kind of sneakily become part of our everyday lives already.
Totally, yeah. And PixelPia, she kind of dives right into it, like calling out what she calls the obvious suspects. I think we all know what those are.
Oh, yeah.
Those virtual assistants.
Mm-hmm.
Alexa, Siri, Google Assistant. I don't know about you, but I've definitely had some deep conversations with those guys.
Me too. And some arguments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some arguments.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a testament to how powerful that technology is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about it. They can understand what we're saying, which is in itself amazing. And then they can respond in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
All thanks to natural language processing, and then they just keep getting better at it.
Right. Like how?
That's the machine learning part. Every interaction we have with them, they're learning more about us, how we speak, what we like.
So it's like they're constantly evolving.
They are.
Huh. Which is both cool and kind of creepy at the same time.
He is a little bit. You're right.
Yeah. But it's not just, talking to our devices.
Right.
Think about, Netflix
Yes.
or Spotify.
Uh-huh.
They always seem to know exactly what we want to watch or listen to next.
It's uncanny sometimes, isn't it?
It is. So how do they do that?
Well, it's the same principle, really.
Yeah.
AI-powered algorithms. They're analyzing what you've watched and listened to in the past and then using that to predict what you'll enjoy in the future.
It's all about personalization.
It is, creating that experience just for you.
But, both PixelPia and Sven, they go beyond the entertainment stuff too, right?
Yeah.
There are all these other areas where AI is working quietly behind the scenes, and we don't even realize it.
Right. Sven calls it the sneaky side of AI.
I like that. Sneaky AI.
And it really is. One of the big examples they both talk about is online shopping and advertising.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever noticed, you browse for something online and then suddenly every ad you see is for that exact product?
Oh, all the time. It's like they're reading my mind or something.
It can feel that way, but really it's AI analyzing your browsing history. It figures out what you might be interested in and uses that information to target you with those ads.
So I guess that's how they get me every time.
Pretty much. And PixelPia, she mentions this thing called dynamic pricing.
Okay, what's that?
It's where AI can actually adjust the prices you see based on demand.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, and your location and even your buying history.
So wait, the price I see for something might be different from what someone else sees. Wow, AI is kind of running the show there, isn't it?
It is, optimizing everything for maximum profit. It's a bit unsettling when you think about it.
Yeah, but it's not just shopping either. They talk about AI in banking and finance.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Think about it. Mobile check deposits, fraud detection, credit scoring.
I never really thought about it, but yeah, you're right. It's all AI, isn't it?
A lot of it is. Those mobile check deposits, they seemed like magic when they first came out, right?
They did.
But it's AI analyzing those images, making sure everything is legit.
Huh.
And fraud detection. AI can analyze transactions in real time, looking for anything suspicious. It's way faster than any human could ever be.
That actually makes me feel better knowing AI is working to keep my money safe.
Right. But on the other hand, Sven makes this really interesting point about AI knowing us better than our therapists.
Okay, that's a little creepy again.
It is.
Oh.
Because it's analyzing our spending patterns, our financial habits.
Yeah.
It might even understand our desires and motivations better than we do.
I don't know if I like that. So where else is this sneaky AI popping up?
Well, PixelPia talks about healthcare,
Okay, right?
symptom checkers, medical imaging analysis.
Oh yeah, those online symptom checkers. You put in your symptoms and it tells you what might be wrong. Is that really AI?
It is. It's comparing your symptoms to a huge database of medical knowledge. It's not a replacement for a doctor, obviously, but it can be a helpful starting point.
Interesting. What about that medical imaging analysis?
That's where AI is analyzing images like X-rays and MRIs, and in a lot of cases, it can actually detect things that a human radiologist might miss.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is.
So we've got AI and our virtual assistants, our entertainment recommendations, online shopping, banking, healthcare. It's everywhere, isn't it?
It really is. And the thing is, it gets even more interesting because AI is starting to infiltrate some really mundane aspects of our lives, too. PixelPia and Sven both highlight some pretty surprising examples.
Okay, I'm all ears. What could be more mundane than online shopping? Give me some examples.
Well, think about your email inbox. Spam filters.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't live without a good spam filter.
Exactly. And you know what? Those are powered by AI. Machine learning helps them identify and block all those unwanted messages, and it keeps getting better over time as it learns from each email.
That's pretty smart.
It is. Or think about, those predictive text suggestions? You know, when you're typing an email or a text message?
Oh, yeah. I use those all the time. Although sometimes they're a little too creative.
Well, that's AI too. It's trying to predict what you're going to say next, and sometimes it gets it hilariously wrong.
Yeah. Sven's got some great examples of that in his post.
He does. Some real gems.
Okay, so AI is sorting our emails and trying to finish our sentences for us. What else?
Well, have you thought about social media? Facebook, Instagram, X.
You mean Twitter?
Yeah, X, the one that used to be Twitter.
Okay. Yeah. I was just thinking about my social media feeds the other day. It's like they're curated just for me. I see things I'm actually interested in.
Exactly. That's AI at work again. It's analyzing what you share, even how you scroll.
So it knows what will keep me engaged.
Exactly.
Huh. But is that always a good thing? Or does that create like a bubble or something?
That is a really important question, and that's actually something we're going to dive into more in the next part of our discussion.
Okay, I'm definitely interested to hear more about that.
Yeah, because AI's influence on social media raises some big questions about how we get our information and how our worldviews are shaped.
Right. It's powerful stuff.
It is.
So we've been talking about all these ways AI is already like woven into our lives, and it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you start to think about it, and I think both PixelPia and Sven do a good job of highlighting just how pervasive it is.
Yeah, and it's not always easy to see, right?
No, definitely not.
It's kind of working behind the scenes a lot of the time.
Uh-huh.
But we know it's there. So the question is, what do we do with this knowledge?
Right, like how do we deal with this AI takeover?
Exactly. Luckily, PixelPia and Sven, they've got some ideas.
They do. They have some pretty good advice on how we can kind of navigate this AI-driven world.
Okay, so what do they say?
Well, PixelPia, she's all about knowledge. She says the more we understand about the AI tools that we're using, the better equipped we are to make, good decisions about them.
So we shouldn't just like blindly accept this stuff.
No, exactly. We should be taking the time to learn about how it works.
So like, how do they do that? What do they recommend?
Well, it's about understanding what data they're collecting, how that data is being used, and what the potential implications are. For example, a lot of people are concerned about targeted advertising. So PixelPia suggests doing a tech audit. Basically, you take a look at all the apps and services that you're using and see what kind of data they're collecting.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I feel like I just blindly click accept on those terms and conditions.
I think most of us do. But it's worth taking a few minutes to look through those privacy settings and see what you're comfortable with.
Okay, so knowledge is power when it comes to AI.
Yeah, pretty much.
What about Sven?
Yeah.
He always has a slightly different take on things.
He does. Sven's a little more, I guess you could say unconventional in his approach.
I like unconventional.
Yeah, me too. He's all about taking a more playful stance against the algorithms. He calls it waging psychological warfare.
Okay, I have to hear this.
Yeah, so his advice includes things like searching for completely random things just to confuse the algorithms.
Right.
Like instead of searching for, best Italian restaurants near me,
Yeah.
you search for how to train a squirrel to water ski,
Okay.
followed by the history of polka music in Uzbekistan.
I love it. I'm totally doing that.
Yeah, the idea is the more random and unpredictable your online behavior is, the harder it is for the algorithms to track you and predict what you're going to do next.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's like a little game you can play.
A game of cat and mouse with the AI.
Exactly. He also suggests clicking on ads for things that you have absolutely no interest in.
Oh, just to mess with them.
Yeah. And then there's the classic move of adding and removing things from your shopping cart over and over again.
To break the system.
Yeah, to just throw it off.
It's like we're taking back some control.
Exactly. It's a way of saying, hey, AI, you might be watching, but I'm not going to make it easy for you.
I mean, let's be real, though. It's probably impossible to escape AI completely at this point, right?
So probably. Sven actually jokes that if you do everything he suggests, the AI will probably just start tracking you through your toaster.
Okay, so maybe we can't escape, but we can be smarter about it.
Exactly.
I think that's what I'm getting from both PixelPia and Sven is that we need to be more conscious and intentional about how we interact with AI.
I think that's a great takeaway. We don't have to become Luddites and reject technology altogether, but we also don't have to just blindly accept everything.
We have choices. We can change our settings. We can even have a little fun with it.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between embracing the convenience and the efficiency that AI offers, while also being aware of the potential downsides.
I think that's a really important point.
It is. And now, as we kind of wrap up this part of our discussion, I want to leave you with a question to ponder.
Okay, hit me.
As AI becomes increasingly sophisticated, how do we balance its potential benefits with the need for responsible development and ethical use?
Wow, it's a big one.
It is, and it's a question that I think we as a society need to really grapple with.
Yeah, for sure. And it's something that we're going to continue exploring in the next part of our deep dive. So we've spent this deep dive really digging into how AI is already like all around us and how it's changing the way we live and work and, everything.
It is. It's pretty mind-blowing when you stop and think about all the ways it's touching our lives.
Right. And sometimes I feel like we don't even realize it's happening.
No, it's definitely subtle a lot of the time. It's not always obvious where AI's influence begins and ends.
Yeah, it's like this invisible force shaping our experiences.
I like that, an invisible force.
But it's a powerful one.
It is.
But, thinking back to what we talked about earlier, like all those personalized recommendations and the targeted ads and even those customer service chatbots with those like weirdly human names.
Yeah.
It does make you wonder, like, are we really in control?
It's a valid question. I think both PixelPia and Sven, they offer some reassurance, though. They remind us that we do have choices we can make.
This is not about rejecting AI altogether.
No, not at all. It's more about understanding it and using it to our advantage.
So how do we do that?
Well, PixelPia really stresses the importance of knowledge. The more we know about these AI tools, the better equipped we are to make informed decisions about how we use them.
Okay, so what does that look like in practice?
It starts with being curious. Take some time to learn about the algorithms that are shaping your online experiences. Check those privacy settings and see what kind of data is being collected.
That's a good point. Most of us don't even look at that stuff.
We don't do, but it can be eye-opening. And once you have that knowledge, you can start to make more conscious choices about the technologies you embrace.
So it's about taking control.
Exactly. And remember, Sven, he has that more playful approach.
Right. Waging psychological warfare on the algorithms.
He makes it fun. It's like, don't be afraid to mess with the system a little bit, disrupt those predictions, assert your individuality.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a good reminder that we're not just passive consumers of technology. We can push back, we can have a little fun.
So it all comes back to agency.
It does, having a sense of agency in this increasingly automated world. And that brings us back to that big question I asked earlier.
The one about balancing AI's benefits with responsible development and ethical use.
Yes, that's the one. I mean, as AI keeps getting more and more sophisticated, we really need to start thinking about the implications.
It's not just a technological issue, it's a societal one.
It is. We need to be having open and honest conversations about the values we want to prioritize as we develop and use these technologies.
We all have a role to play in this.
We do. The future of AI, it's not predetermined. It's something that we as individuals and as a society have the power to shape.
That's a really empowering thought.
I think so too.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive on AI. It's been a fascinating conversation.
It has. And I hope it's given our listeners a lot to think about.
I think it has. And, as we move forward into this AI-driven future, let's remember what we've learned from PixelPia and Sven. Let's be informed, let's be intentional, and, maybe even a little bit mischievous.
Absolutely. And most importantly, let's keep those conversations going about the ethical and responsible development of AI.
That's right. Thanks for joining us on AI Takeover. And until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.